And I tried to give this presentation to myself like 3-4 times last night, and rewrote it like 3-4 times. So I don't actually have any structure. I'm just going on whatever. So this is going to be interesting. It might turn into a half conversation sort of thing. It might just be me ranting the whole time, but I'm going to try to see what I can get done. So I guess the reason I'm here is because I think that the main reason you heard about me was I have a game. I've programmed a game, and I plan to make money off of it. I really haven't yet. I mean, the thing is, that's not the only thing that I do, and that's not the only reason the only way that I intend to make money. So, some of those are entrepreneurship type, most of those are entrepreneurship type things. The game development is definitely the biggest one, and the one I'm most interested in. I feel like, how do I say this? So I tried to, trying to decide where to start here. I'm kind of obsessed with recording a lot of things that happen to me, like, over time. Like, I'm very obsessed with trying to, like, store stuff as they happen. Because in retrospect, I always wish that I had more information about me from a younger time. So I'm not going to go really into depth because I've tried it, and it goes on for like an hour. Like, I can talk forever about past and how I got here. So just the basics are, from a really young age, I was interested in computers. I think my parents probably bought me like some educational games, whatever the heck. And when I was in kindergarten, I started downloading Wild Tangent games, which is kind of like the Steam of the day. We didn't put any money into it, so it was just, there were just the demos of the game that you could download for free. I figured out how to do the entire installation process, and it's funny because we only had probably like a 40 gigabyte hard drive. So I would download a demo of a game, play it, and then once the demo expired, I would download another one. I never deleted the old one, so the hard drive was just filling up. And so at some point my dad bought me a PlayStation 2, probably for that reason, because I was totally bogging down his computer, and I got really interested in that. In kindergarten, I met Jordan Brown, who used to go here. I think he was here freshman and sophomore year. He's been my best friend literally since kindergarten, and so during that time, like in between kindergarten to 4th grade, we weren't in kindergarten, we were in the same class, but the rest of the time we didn't get into the same class. During that time, we became really, really interested in video games. We both got PlayStation 2s, and that was just a big thing that we were really interested in. So I'll get back to that. In 3rd grade, I took a game development course. It was Game Maker 7. It's similar to Scratch, where it's just drag and drop. It's a little more complex than Scratch. They wanted me to, at the end of the course, they want you to buy like the professional version of it. And I was like, how about no? And so I went home and I found that there was a free version of it online. It wasn't like it didn't have all the features, but the stuff that I was doing, it looked like the same thing to me. The only thing you couldn't do was particle physics. I like making stuff, smoking stuff. You can't do that. But anyway, besides that, it was literally the same thing. And so there was that, and I've always been really interested in just stories and just abstract things. I used to watch shows with different dimensions in them and stuff like that. And I don't know, kind of like narratives and stuff always entertained me. And I was trying to write my own. I was terrible at it, but I was doing it anyway. 4th grade, me and Jordan were in the same class. I don't know exactly where this came from, but it occurred to me that money is good. I like money, and basically there's only like 2 places to get that from when you're that young, and that's your parents or somebody else, which, I mean, that's pretty much how it works anyway. But, you learn pretty quick that parents don't understand that you just need lots of money all the time so you can keep buying things. That didn't make sense to them for some reason. So I set out to make money on my own, and the way I wanted to do it was stuff that I enjoy doing. I had gotten into animation as well at the time. It was literally, I would use MS Paint and Windows Movie Maker, and I would painstakingly make like every single frame. It was awful, and the stories made no sense, and yeah, those are super varied now for a reason. But they were really impressive because I was actually doing stuff. And so me and Jordan started working on different stories for that type of stuff. We started making up games. I'm going to skip forward a bunch. In, I believe it was 7th grade, I became interested in an engine called Unity. I think at the time it was Unity 3. And it was like actually professional grade, like full-on coding and everything. And I didn't really know how to use it at all. But I slowly figured it out over the course of years through looking at all kinds of YouTube videos that taught you how to do it. I couldn't even actually code. I knew like 3 lines of code, and me and Jordan made an entire game from that in 8th grade. That was called Faceless. It was basic. Slender was really popular at the time, and so we took the same mechanic as Slender and we applied it to an inanimate object, which was a grandfather clock. So if you look at a grandfather clock, it like kills you, which was kind of interesting because it means that you have to hold your camera at weird angles and like walk through this haunted house, and you have to be aware of your surroundings but not look at it at the same time, which was kind of an interesting. It was, yeah. I took on Nova paper. I wrote down the URL to the site, and this is the brilliant name that we came up with. It's still that, and so I wrote down the URL like over and over and over and over on a piece of paper to get to the game, and I would just like fold it and just tear it out. I just had my pockets full of this URL. I would go to anyone who would listen to me and just like, I just made a video game. Like me and Jordan literally just made a game. Check this out. And there were like 72 people in the grade. In one night, like 42 of them played it. Like, that was pretty cool. It never went past that. That game at least. And it shouldn't have. It was mostly really terrible. So just sophomore year, me and Jordan decided, okay, we had been improving our skills, and we'd have lots of little half projects that never went anywhere, and we wanted to get something finished, which is funny because I'm still working on this. But we said, what if we just took a game that we already made, that we already know works, we took Faceless, and we made it again, except way better. So we did that, and then we decided we wanted to make a whole game out of it. So we took that, and since it was fairly good, we put that up on Game Jolt as like a demo of the game. And after a while, I mean, it actually started getting a little bit of traction. You know, on a good night, it could have got like 40 hits in a night, which was a really cool jump because it's like we made an entire game and then got like 40 hits in one night, and then that was it for the game. And the difference is this had the potential to sometimes get 40 hits in one night. After it was, like, we weren't telling anyone anything. It was just happening, just sitting on Game Jolt, because people would just click on it. So eventually enough people started playing it that some little bitty YouTubers started recording themselves playing it. And so now I can go on YouTube. If you type in, it's now called The Horologist Legacy. If you type in The Horologist Legacy and start scrolling down, almost the whole page is people that have played the game, which is really cool. They're not huge YouTubers or anything, but it's there. And so, I mean, that's really cool because that's how a lot of big YouTubers, or a lot of games get big from YouTubers playing them now. It's like an organic, free source of advertising. And so, I went to all of those people that had played the game and like personally asked them if I could use their footage and put it into a trailer on YouTube. And so that's what this is. You can go ahead.
Just pause and restart.
Oh yeah.
Is that reading?
I don't know.
Is it actually? Where am I?
I'm coming to you through the photograph. Listen, this house is ridden with grandfather clocks. Don't even look at them. I mean, laying eyes on them well, they really are everywhere.
What in the devil himself?
You must be looking for something, or else they're looking for you.
Who's looking for me? The Horologist's Legacy. First house is free at DameJolt.com.
You know, I've played games like Slender the Arrival. They did not scare me as much as this did. Holy crap. Wow. This was intense.
So that's the thing. And for all that has been sitting up there for about maybe 2 years now, something like that. And from that, we have a glorious this. $2.01. We have a plan. When we can actually withdraw at this low of a revenue, whenever we decide to actually take that money out of there, the lowest possible bit of revenue that you're allowed to take out is 5 cents. So we're going to take out 5 cents and go to the bank and get 5 cents. We're going to name him Nikola Tesla, and we're going to frame it, and it's going to be great. Because it represents that little, it took us a long time. It took us a lot of trial and error to even get to this point, which just goes to say how difficult it is to make a game that anyone pays any attention to. And that is the biggest concern that we still have, is trying to get anyone to pay attention to it. Because when it comes to independent game development, the primary concern, you rely on, do people buy the game? Do people even care about it? Do people know what it is? Because if not, it's not like you work for a game development company that's just going to pay you X dollars per hour. Let's see, how much time do we have left?
14 minutes?
14 minutes.
At the most.
Alright, I'm going to hit on a couple other things if I can. So, let's see. So, ultimately, I really want to be able to do that and a couple of other things. When it comes to making money in general, I'm obviously money is great, you need it. It's not the ultimate source of happiness. And for as long as I can remember, I've been a really existential thinker. I'm not going to go super into detail, but the point is, I want to be able to make money, but enjoy doing it. For instance, over the last 2 summers, because I wrote actual code for this game, it's to the point where I'm actually writing, I actually know how to code in C# and stuff. Since I was able to do that, my next door neighbor works at a software company, and I literally had him, I'm into my room and I just showed him the code that I was writing and how it was making the game work and stuff. And he was like, oh, you could work here. And so I got to work at this company called Vin Solutions for as an internship, and they paid me, and that's great. And I mean, moving forward, I'm probably going to continue doing that because I need a source of income to support how slow and tedious independent game development can be. And you can't just be certain that it's going to work. So that's one source of income, is having an actual just job, especially if you're going to work on something like this. You need a source of income that does pay you by the hour, unless it can actually support you. So there's that, and that contributes hugely to that. But the problem is, that is not what I want to be my primary source of income at all. So there's also independent game development, and that's what I probably want to be primary. I'm also doing a bunch of other stuff, especially as of recently, I've started getting into writing music, and it's because I really enjoy writing music. I don't know if it's the same problem with the indie stuff, where it's how much it's in demand dictates how much this happens. And what else? So me and Jordan and this one other guy, his name is Luke, are working on some other stuff right now. So we're working on things like going to garage sales, buying stuff cheaper than they're supposed to be, and then like just selling them on eBay and just seeing if we can make a profit that way. And again, that wouldn't last forever. Hopefully you could get momentum from that and then maybe put more of that into something like this, where, and then there's bigger things that you can move up to. We're thinking about maybe at some point when we have the money to work with, doing things like flipping cars, where you can buy a car and maybe take this supercharger out of it and sell the supercharger in the car individually or something like that. And but the point is, this is great because as of right now, this is more like what that looks like. But you're gonna need that. So if you can get income big enough from these types of things, then you can hopefully someday do that. And then you can be your own boss, because I don't necessarily, it's all right working there, but it's definitely not like working on this. It's a lot more enjoyable to have your own schedule and to work on something that you're passionate about.
Are we ready for questions?
You can do that now.
Okay. Would love to have you guys ask some good questions.
Okay. So like, would you want to like go study this in college and like further your skill set? And like, would you potentially want to take on like a future career, like working for yourself, or for like if that doesn't like work out, would you still be willing to like work for a different company so you can still be using those skills, or like what's your like vision for the long run?
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna go to University of Colorado Springs probably. They have this thing called a Bachelor's of Innovation, which is centralized around game development. I feel like a lot of game development degrees don't exactly give you the skills they need, especially as of a couple of years ago, but I think they've gotten better. And it's a lot harder to get something that's centralized around independent game development. They usually want to give you the skills to work in the industry, which could be a stepping stone. I would rather work in a game company than work for the software company I'm working at right now. But and that definitely could be very useful in that you get to work with games on a big scale like that. And any way that you can work on that type of thing is good. So that would also be good to contribute back to there. Yeah. So I would definitely pursue some kind of college degree that would help me get that type of career.
So how did you how'd you make it? Like, is that all like coding, like letters and numbers?
Well, Unity is easier than just straight up code. I mean, most game engines are, even like, I think most professionals nowadays use Unreal Engine, which is the direct competitor to Unity.
What's that?
So game engines make it so that you don't have to just go into a notepad and just start writing, because then if you did that, you'd have to literally come up with you'd have to know how to make a computer and all of its bits and bytes, create things like physics engines and account for like photons and things like that. That's not the type of thing that most people want to think about. And so game engines do that for you, and then just the way Unity does it is an object has like a behavior, and the complex stuff is mostly taken care of, but then it gives you the option to add your own code to it. And even that code is in an environment where it's a lot simpler to write than just
Like people type that?
straight writing. Like, yeah, it derives from its own stuff that makes it easier.
Bryce, did you apply?
No, I had someone ask the question. So from like, you said like you created that game like 2 years ago. Have you like improved it since then? And like, is that the one game?
That is exactly what I need to talk about. That's great. So, moving forward, we plan to finish the game, and we have been working on it a lot, especially as of lately. And so, yeah, the game has improved so much that we planned it. Yeah, that's exactly where I wanted to go into. I just didn't. We haven't done a marketing blast yet, but we're going to, and that comes after we're redoing the demo right now, essentially, because the demo is good, but it doesn't reflect what the rest of the game is going to be like anymore because it's been so improved upon. It would also be good to talk about the marketing blast. Are you raising your hand again?
Yeah. Are you like trying to get it out to like other people, like for example, like YouTubers, to try to like show off the product?
Actually, yeah. So YouTube has been our. You what?
What?
So as of right now, if someone picks up the game, I just reply to them and just say, oh, thanks for playing the game and stuff. As of yet, we haven't reached out to them. What's going to happen is, when we get that demo done, then we will do the marketing blast, because that's what we want people to see. So then we're going to reach out to, if we can, just every little YouTuber that we can. We're going to make social media accounts from everything from Facebook to Pinterest. Just everything is going to have an account. And we're going to work on making a continual stream of content to get people on board. We're going to have a central website that has links to all the places where you can play the game. And then when the actual game comes out, we're going to put it on Steam, Game Jolt, everywhere you can sell it, basically.
So, you made the game, and the thing that kills you in the game is a clock, right? Why'd you choose that?
Good question. I think in 8th grade, when Jordan originally had that idea, basically his idea was like, grandfather clocks make scary noises sometimes. That's a thing. We just wanted to make a game at the time, you know. In retrospect, it's kind of dumb. But, especially moving forward, we've learned so much about game development as a medium.
Your time is up.
I'm not sure what the next game is going to look like, but it's going to be something a lot more intriguing than that. We just want to finish this now because we put so much work into it that it's still going to be a good game. And yeah.
Okay, so you were talking about earlier, like making the demo and starting on the marketing. Like, what's your time frame for that? Like, how long do you think that'll take you to do?
We would like to finish the whole game before the end of the school year, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen. So we're just working at we're setting like little deadlines now. We have the whole plan. We haven't scaled it out to see where exactly it's going to end up. It'll probably be a few months, I would guess. But yeah.
Okay, and then when you start making games, like, do you want this to be like the primary game that like you're known for, or is it just like a stepping stone? Like,
It's really just a stepping stone. I think a lot of game studios should think in that way, and the ones that do are usually pretty successful, where they're like, this is a game, but some studios are thinking 3 games in the future. So it's all just building blocks to build an audience, to build experience. Yeah.
Any last questions? Yeah. Good job. Five questions, but I'll probably ask you privately.